Right, so I'm currently in the fake Civic Type R. This is a complete replica. If you didn't see the video on this car, I've done it about a year ago now, and I sold it and I just bought it back off the customer recently. And my RS6 is broken again, so I've just been running around in this for the last couple of days. Today's video is, well, you see the thumbnail. I'm going to pick up my GTR that I used to own. It's been a year since I sold that car. I'm still in contact with the guy that owned it. He's actually a friend of mine, or the guy that owns it even. He's a friend of mine, and I texted him last night. I was like, Mark, can I borrow the GTR for a day and just do a little video on it? So he's like, yeah, take it, no problem. He actually said, you can take it for a whole week if you want. How sound is that? So first things first, I'm gonna go get a haircut because I look a bit, looking bloody, got the homeless look going on. Understeer, front wheel drive, yeah, I'm gonna go get a haircut, sort myself out a little bit, go pick the GTR up, and then go for a little drive in GTR. We're gonna do draggy time as well, alright? So I'll see you in a bit.
I was starving, now I'm eating till my belly full. From up north, we get cold, you need a heavy coat. Scared to end up on a shirt before a centerfold. Devil on my back, target on me, deli toe. Play for keeps, don't tweet. It's not peace, don't speak. 24, no sleep. This is real, no tweet. My bros for life, can't break this link. Family on my side, baby stay around me. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my ass way, I'm a red.
There it is then, my old GTR. So for those that might not have seen this car before, this is the actual car that I used to own. So I sold it to my mate Mark, and I briefly mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I sold it to Mark exactly a year ago this week. And I owned this car for 2 years and I loved it. I'm not joking. I remember the feeling that I felt going to pick this car up. I was so excited about collecting it, the whole effort that went into looking at these cars. I wanted a pearl white one, I wanted a black edition. This is a black edition car, and this particular car, just little things like come around the back, the rear splitter, or say splitter or diffuser, that's normally black at the bottom there, and this has been painted white to match the body of the car, which I thought looked really good. The satin black wheels, they're still how they were when I bought the car. I stuck them Nismo stickers on because I just like the colour combo, but it was the first like proper car that I ever bought and owned myself. I put the carbon fibre front splitter on the bottom there just to sort of finish the look of it off, and sorry, the wind is terrible. And then interior wise, like I say, it's a black edition, so it's got the sat nav screen. What else do they have? The red on the seats as well. Heated seats, Bose sound. Just a couple of little extras, I think, the black edition. I can't honestly remember, but I remember feeling like I wanted the black edition because I wanted the red bits, and I had to have one with sat nav. I put the carbon fibre paddle shifters on because I just like that sort of stuff, and I also had it tuned, but I'll talk about the tuning when we get out on the road on it in a sec. So what I'll do is, actually before we get out for a little drive, let me just show you the leg room in this car. So I can't quite get I can just about get my finger between me, between my seat and the back seat. So if you're considering getting a GTR and you're considering carrying passengers, just rule out the seat behind you, especially if you're over 6 foot tall, because you are not getting a person behind the driver, trust me. All right, passenger side, you can just about get a passenger and almost one in there, but yeah, it's basically a 3-seater car. What we'll do is we'll do the normal platform. We'll go out for a little drive in it. Obviously I'm quite excited about driving it and showing you like the car. Some of you, like I said, you might not even know this car, you won't even know that I ever had it, but it was a massive part of my life when I bought it, so it'll be exciting to get out on it and show some of you lot that haven't seen it, show you what it's like. Yeah, so we'll go for a little drive, and then when we're out on the road we'll do draggy times near the end of the video and see how quickly we can get it to 60. Alright, so let's get on it. I've got so many memories in this car. Like I say, I had it for 2 years, and so it's 3 years ago since I bought. It's been 3 years since I bought this car, and at the time I was just like, I was so particular about what I wanted. The choices or the cars, other cars that I looked at the time were either this, an F8 EM3, or an Audi R8, a V8, the early generation. And because at the time they were all about the same money. The more I looked into the GTR thing, the more I thought, hold on, this is actually a serious car. I really wanted something with a dual clutch gearbox as well, so that kind of ruled out the R8 as an option. And the M3 was a real drive. We was going into the winter, and I thought it's going to be a bit of a nightmare buying an M3 and tuning it at this time of the year, because it ain't going to put no power down. So downfall of a GTR is, like I said, you can't get anyone behind you. They don't have a lot of space, although they are a huge car. They don't offer a lot of room inside. But as I got involved or into looking at them, I was just like, you know what, that is a serious car. And like I said, this particular one, it was up for sale for ages. The guy couldn't sell it. I made him a low offer. I said, mate, that's my offer, and when you're ready, give me a shout and I'll buy it. And it went on and on and on, and it literally got to the week of Christmas, I think, and he said, Calvin, just come and buy the car. And I did. When I bought it, it was a stage 1 car, which I think the stages of GTR's tuning stages are different to other cars. I don't quite know why or what's the reason behind it, but it had a wide pipe. It may have had a map. The standard, they're 480 bhp, the earlier GTRs. This is a 2009 model, by the way, 59 plate, and yeah, 480 bhp. It may have been a little bit more than that, maybe 520, somewhere along them lines. I bought it, and my intentions were, whatever GTR I bought, I wanted to go to stage 4.25. Again, I don't know why it's stage 4.25. I think I did know, but I've forgotten. If anyone knows, comment below. And I wanted to obviously get more power out of it, and I wanted the ability to do pops and bangs. Now, I'm friends with Albert at Night Racer, and he's known for creating big pops and bangs. I took it there and he done it. I got it that car back that day, and it was throwing flames out the back. It was noisy. I went to a car show in London as well. A lot of you would have seen this video. We went to Berkeley Square in London, and I was doing pops and bangs in Berkeley Square with another GTR, and we pretty much, it's childish really, don't encourage that sort of stuff to the younger crew at home. But it was a good laugh. We stopped the whole bloody road and we were sitting there doing pops and bangs. The video went viral. We got millions of views on Facebook and YouTube. I'll try and find a clip of that now. But yeah, the experience of owning it was just amazing. It was the perfect car I could have ever bought. It was the longest I ever owned a car for. 2 years. Me owned one car for 2 years. I've never ever had a car that long. It shows how much I love this car. The fact that the interior, you know, I thought I'm gonna hate this interior. There's no way I'm putting up with this tatty old, like, plasticky, old dated looking interior. There was no way I didn't think I'd like it anywhere near as much as I did, and it never ever bothered me. And the one thing I say a lot about cars is it's all relevant to the person, and for me it's all about how a car drives. And after I got this car tuned, I actually got it retuned later on down the line just to see if I could get any more power out of it. I took it to Lichfield, they serviced it and they retuned it, and it come back even better. So currently it's running at 660 bhp. Night Racer done, so when it originally went to Night Racer, they'd done bigger injectors. This is what the stage 4.25 consists of, by the way. Bigger injectors, filters, decat downpipes, and then obviously the map. And after getting it done at Night Racer, it was amazing. I highly rate Night Racer. And then given another tuner a chance to perfect or improve on what I already had, it just come back an even better car. Shall I go that way? Let's go that way. I'll never go that way. And throughout the whole range, the whole rev range, let's get that traction control off. You've got all these buttons here. It's quite a dramatic car. It's very sort of Fast and the Furious style, isn't it? It's what the Japanese were about. So the way it delivers power is it's dominantly a rear-wheel drive car, but then when the rear wheels slip, the fronts kick in, but it does drive so much like a rear-wheel drive car. I know, like I say, it's dominantly rear-wheel drive, but Quattros and four-wheel drive VWs and Audis, they just seem to feel like they're constantly in four-wheel drive. There's just no give. But with a GTR, they kind of slip a little bit. You feel the wheels sort of give way a little bit, and I like that. I've always liked that about a car, and that's what I love about a two-wheel drive car. I love the fact that you put your foot down and the wheels try and give way. Now, the thing that I was most curious about, honestly, is, does it feel quicker? From memory, this is the fastest thing I've ever driven. It's just such a quick car. And I was curious to know that a year later, and I've driven some pretty serious cars over the past year, would I still be as impressed with this car as I was then? And honestly, the power delivery is just on point. Mark said to me, the guy that owns it now, when I picked it up just now, he said, Calvin, I've thought about maybe getting it tuned. I don't really want to spend no money on it because I don't want to lose money. He's quite a sensible guy with his money, but he likes power. And he said, I thought about tuning it. I said, you know what, Mark, if it's still as good as it was back when I owned it, I don't think, that's crazy advice to give a petrol head. Don't go for more power, but I don't think it's worth it. It is just perfect. I think the only thing that ever annoyed me about this car, the only one thing, in fact there was two things, but the other thing was a little niggling thing, but the one thing that annoyed me was the fact that GTRs, they do overfuel, and being a white car, it would throw black sort of soot over the back bumper. So I was forever cleaning the back bumper, trying to get the soot off of it. That annoyed me. And they also suffer with, it's not an issue, but when I first bought it, they got like a chatter in the gearbox. Apparently the clutch plates rattle and touch each other, and they make a horrible noise on tick over. And that always annoyed me. It still does it now. It's always done it. But that was always a little bit of a thing that bugged me. But other than that, it is just as amazing as I remember. Now, something a GTR offers which is over any other car that you'll ever drive, if you've ever driven a GTR, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, is they're very mechanical. And for a dual clutch gearbox car to feel mechanical, you know, like an analog raw driving, that experience would normally come from a manual gearbox. But with a GTR, they're very, I suppose it is a Japanese characteristic, isn't it? They're very raw. The gearbox is like, you see the way I'm flicking down the gears there, it's just, it's almost a modern analog car. Does that even make sense? When you drive one, if you ever get the chance to drive one, you'll fully understand what I mean. And if you get one that's been tuned, it'll be one of the best things you ever drive. GTRs, they're in a league of their own, and when anything's ever good, anything good in life that's ever good, if you get a bloody good racing car driver, a good football player, a good anything that's exceptionally good, it gets stick. And GTRs, when they come out, they were a lot of car for the money, and they were brilliant cars. They've done 0-60 in less than 4 seconds. They were a Nissan, and everyone's like, what the bloody hell is a bloody Nissan? And I've done a whole video explaining that it's just a bloody Nissan. If you want to check that out, check the tab up there. It's a couple of minutes long. And even, I'll be honest with you, I kind of had that thought about it myself. It's just a bloody Nissan. How could it be that good? When you walk up to a Nissan GTR, let's talk about that in a sec, because my mind's just running. I've got so much to talk about with this car. They naturally get stick, and online, that's what I was saying about, online these cars get so much stick, and everyone's like, oh, GTR owners be like, there's like memes and everything about these cars. If you've got anything bad to say about these cars, other than, unless it's factual, of course, if you've got anything bad to say about these cars, you're a bloody idiot, because you need to get yourself in the driver's seat at one, and you need to experience what they're like to drive, because I'm pretty sure that any good driver, any serious petrol head, anyone that loves cars, will get in this car and absolutely love it. They are honestly that good. Now this car is 10 years old now and it don't look dated. And what I was going to say is, when I walked up to this car, even when I first looked at it when I first bought it, the road presence, it weighs 1,750 kilo, maybe about 1,800, a bit more than that. So it's a big car, it's a big heavy car, yeah, and which is a negative in the sort of the petrol head world. But when you walk up to a GTR, you look at it in front of you, the physical road presence of this car is phenomenal. They look so bloody good. One thing I never really liked even when I bought this car originally, was I didn't really like the headlights, but they grew on me. The whole look of it just grew on me massively. And when you're behind a GTR, like right now I've got an Audi TT behind me, it's such, from that TT's point of view right now, it's such a lovely thing to look at from the rear. It's fat, it's wide, it's got some serious presence. And I think as far as ticking boxes is concerned, the GTR is undoubtedly one of the best cars ever made. They're that good. Now, a lot of people consider about running costs, are they expensive? These are all the fears that I had in my head. Would I be able to afford to run this thing? A full tank on a stage 4.25 GTR that's been well tuned, it's going to get you 150 miles. If you drive it like a granny on the motorway, you're going to get 250 miles out of a tank. So they're terrible on fuel. Service wise, I went to multiple garages. Auto Talk, rate Auto Talk. Chris at Auto Talk is a good friend of mine, based in Aylesbury. Night Racer, Milton Keynes. Albert's a great guy. And then Lichfield, Ian Lichfield, I use them as well. They're a great bunch. There's plenty of good tuners about, or maintenance or mechanics places that you can go to get these cars maintained, and I rate all of them. A service is going to cost you about 800 quid from memory. I don't know. Correct me again in the comments below. This is all massively off the cuff and only from memory, but I got it done every 6 months religiously. You're meant to. It's a bit over the top really, but why not? This car has been serviced every 6 months of its life. It's 10 years old, so it must have been serviced 20 times. That's about all you need to know as far as maintenance is concerned. Is that really that bad? Anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my my little spot where I do draggy times, and we're going to see how quickly we can get it to 60. All right. But before I go ahead and do the draggy times, I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use launch, because I said that I never had no issues on it. One day I took this car to Santa Pod and I got to the start line. It's the first time I've ever been to Santa Pod in my life. Got to the start line in this car thinking I'm going to smash it up, I'm going to do amazing times. Went to do launch and the gearbox light came on and it overheated. That video's on YouTube as well, by the way, so you can go and check that out. I'll put a tab for that in the corner as well. But I don't really want to damage the gearbox on someone else's car, especially not after what's just happened to my RS6. Go. Oh. So I'll do it without launch. Right, so I just pulled over and we want to know draggy times, don't we? It's an interesting one really, because I couldn't do launch control. I could do launch control, but like I said, I don't want to break no one's car, so I passed on doing launch. And if you looked at launch, probably saving you half a second at a guess. Is that a fair guess? The times that this car just done are quite impressive. So I've done 30 to 100 mile an hour times as well, so we can compare it to the Golf R and the RS6. It's a question that I keep getting asked, which is how does it compare to them two cars? So let's first of all bring up the RS6 and the Golf R, 0 to 60 and 30 to 100 times. So the quickest car out of the two is the RS6. It's done 0 to 60 in 3.25 seconds and 30 to 100 in 5.63 seconds. This car done 0 to 60 without launch control in 3.78 seconds, and it done 30 to 100 mile an hour, which obviously that wouldn't have been affected by launch control, in 5.74 seconds. So let's just get this right. It's actually almost as quick from 30 to 100 as the Golf R, and not as quick, anywhere near as quick as the RS6 from 30 to 100. But I think the summary of this video for me is the Golf R is is bloody crazy, and I suppose secondly, driving wise, when you drive a GTR, it is, this particular car, it drives so well. When the way it delivers power and the way it feels nimble, although it's a big car, it feels strangely nimble and drivable, and it gives you a perception that it's faster than what it actually is. It's quite surprising that it's not quicker than the Golf R. I can't believe that. But when I bought the Golf R, I thought there's no way is this Golf R quicker than my GTR. And yeah, I've just summarised that it is, the Golf R is quicker. So like I say, with launch it would do 60, probably it'll do it quicker, probably around half a second quicker. That would bring it on par with the other two cars. But in a nutshell, this car is bloody amazing, and if you want to buy a car like this right now, they're about 35 grand for a decent one, or a decent early one. In my life, I'd like to own a facelift one, probably like they facelifted in 2011, then later on I think in 2017, so later on. Amazing car, whatever you buy. They've all got the same engine and gearbox. It's just they just enhance and improve on a few things. So an early car now, like I say, 35 grand. They're a great thing to buy. I think they're not going to lose much money now as well. They've done their money, and so now it's probably a safe time to buy one. Something else I didn't mention as well quickly is this has got switchable maps. Again, this was both Litchfield, Night Racer and Auto Talk all do all this stuff, and you can literally press and hold cancel, and on the dash up here or on the screen in the middle you can change which map you'd like it on, and it changes the boost of the turbo, so that's quite cool as well. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. I'm going to remind you that the Golf R is still available to win tickets for in a competition on my website, planetofdreams.co.uk. If you want to buy yourself a ticket, at this stage I don't know how many's left. We've sold absolutely loads of tickets, but if there are any left, I'll make sure there's a link for that in the description below. I'll also pin a comment as well, alright? If you did like this video, hit like. If you're new to my channel, do of course hit subscribe. I'm doing car related stuff all the time. It's Calvin's Car Diary, and it's literally that. Does exactly what it says on the tin. Give me a follow on Instagram as well, at Calvin's Car Diary, and I'll see ya in my next video. Bye. In the next episode of Calvin's Car Diary, I take my Golf R to Albert at Night Racer, find out why on Wednesday at 6 o'clock.